Welcome to the NBA Prop Pick Show, powered by Easy Analytics. I'm Don Metler. He's Adam Scherher. I'm surprised he's still rocking the Orioles hat after my Tigers beat them yesterday, but we'll go with that. I thought you might have a different hat today, but Game 3, NBA Finals tonight. Thunder win Game 2 easily, kind of, which I think we all kind of thought here on the show that the Thunder would win it pretty easily. Adam's bet of Thunder in 5 still looking pretty good here. I feel like it's definitely still in play. We went 1-1 with the prop picks last show. SGA goes 34 points to go under the 34.5. So that move from 33.5 to 34.5 was very important. And the fact that it was a blow and he got pulled from the game there with a couple minutes left also helped a lot. And then Chet Holmgren finished with 1 assist. He doesn't hit the over there. You're kind of alluding to it in the pre-show here with SGA. You didn't want to run it back for under 34.5 for Game 3 here.
Well, it's down to 33.5, I think, okay. At least where I was looking. And yeah, that's one. It looks good in the projections, but I didn't take it just because we have seen 2 games now where you've gotten the elevated usage rate from SGA. It was lower in Game 2, like it was 37.5% Game 1, 34% Game 2. But we had talked about that. You specifically prior to Game 1 that it was likely you would see increased usage and lower assist opportunities in this series for SGA based on what Indiana would give him. And so, at 34.5, I thought that kind of had moved too far and corrected a little bit too much. But then with it coming back down, I do think you still have to factor in that SGA is probably going to have elevated usage in this series consistently. And then also it's a 5-point spread instead of an 11-point spread. He's probably going to play more minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like he's having just an incredible run here through the playoffs, and I feel like we kind of ruined it with the whole or I didn't, but the general media with the whole foul baiting and kind of painting him a certain way. Some of the buckets he's getting against the Pacers, because you get friends texting you who they're not big NBA fans, but it's NBA Finals, so they're watching these games and they're like, this guy could score on anyone, and his layup package going through the lane, some of the layups he makes it look so easy. The finishes, some NBA players don't even make shots like that, and he's just so smooth, and the step back jumpers, the 3-level scoring, he is having an amazing run here, and it's kind of it's almost like an all-time season. I know people love to hate on him right now, but you're gonna go MVP, could win the NBA Finals, NBA, and you're probably gonna be Finals MVP. He's gonna be Finals MVP if they win the championship. There's literally no one else who they'll give it to on the Thunder. So yeah, SGA, man, this is the start of their run here. So I think Game 3 tonight, I think it's a huge tone setter for the rest of the series. Because if the Pacers win this one, it feels like we have a series.
Yep.
If the Thunder go into Indiana and kind of step on their throat in the first half and say they have a 10, 12-point lead at halftime, it does kind of feel and then they win that game decent, pretty easily. It does feel that might be it.
I don't know. Do you want a 10, 12-point lead? Because that's when, Tyrese Haliburton's skill really kicks in and he decides to start making shots.
Well, Tyrese Haliburton's already pushing some excuses here. They're talking about some leg injury. Did you see him walking off the? I can't take the Pacers seriously with that though, because after Rick Carlisle did the whole New York Knicks, wow, Cam Payne's such a good player, he should be playing. He did all those things in the media. The fact that they came out 2 days in advance and said Tyrese Haliburton's dealing with a leg injury, but he'll still play. I was feels like a little bit of a game. I know he was limping off the podium there last game, but feels like they're kind of trying to mess up the Thunder there a little bit. So
I'm a little nervous today too, because they did figure out how to get Haliburton going a bit in the fourth quarter of Game 2, just initiating their offense differently. And so I'm curious to see kind of how that goes in this game. You get them at home, you get them maybe unlocking something in Game 2. So again, if OKC just comes out and steps on their throat, I'll feel a lot better about my bets.
Yeah, I think Thunder flopped in Game 3 against the Wolves, right? They got blown out and then they won. I think that was the one they lost, and they got blown out and won the other 4. So yeah, I think it's a huge tone setter. If the Thunder come out and win this game, I think that is pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the series. But we got 3 bets for you today. I'm actually going to give 2. There's no before you bet today. We weren't able to do that show today. So I'm going to give my bets here on this show. And then Adam has one for you as well. I'm going to go first here because I have 2. And I'm going to go, and Tim's going to love this because he's asking for Pacers props here in the chat. I'm going Myles Turner over 14.5 points, -114 at FanDuel. Did open 13.5, about -125. Moved a point. I still think you can play it at 14.5, -114. The juice is obviously a little lower here. A couple things for Myles Turner. I think he kind of is getting a little faded in the market here because he's had 4 games of sub 30 minutes. But the context, you look at what happened there. 3 of those games were huge blowouts where his minutes get reduced. And then the Game 1, OKC goes small. His minutes kind of get reduced there because they don't really need him on the floor. I think what was important was game 2. You saw OKC kind of go back to that double big lineup. It was effective. If they're going double big lineup, Myles Turner has to play. There's, the only other option is Thomas Bryant off the bench. You saw Tony Bradley get hurt in the last series here, and he's 14.5. He's working with Tyrese Haliburton. You go back and you look at some of the shots. I mean, he's been over this total in this series already, but you look at the shots he's getting wide open jump shots because the Thunder defense, they're basically selling out to stop Haliburton from getting shots in the pick and roll. So Myles Turner is just the beneficiary of that. He's getting wide open looks. I think he can just work in tandem off of Haliburton. And you kind of look at like those soft factors for me. He's been here for like 9-10 years. He's got to be fired up for an NBA Finals game in Indiana. So not a math thing, doesn't really play in, but kind of just one of those like little added boosts here. So I'm going with Myles Turner over 14.5 points, minus 114. And we'll move to Adam's bet here. We're going back to FanDuel. We're going Alex Caruso over 2.5 assists plus 116. So once again, that's Alex Caruso over 2.5 assists plus 116. Adam, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, I mean, the playing time for Caruso has been favorable in this series. We got 27.5 minutes 27 minutes last game, lost a couple to garbage time, looked like he was going to close, probably pushes 30 in that one. In game 1, he played 28.5 minutes. He was in the closing lineup. We did see the double big lineup a little bit more, or not a little bit. We saw it more last game than in game 1 from OKC, but that cut into Cason Wallace's minutes more than Alex Caruso's. So the assist opportunities haven't really been there through the first 2 games for Caruso, only averaging 2.5 potential assists per game. That's obviously the concern. You get into the NBA Finals and SGA is just going to be on the floor more. He's going to have the ball in his hands even more. You're going to be looking to Alex Caruso to facilitate less. But I do think the minutes will be there. And then you're getting plus money on him, which is nice. So you're going to need an above average conversion rate, most likely. I don't think it's super likely that you get any games where Caruso suddenly gets like 6 potential assists or anything like that. So you will need to run hot on conversion rate, but you're getting plus money here. And I do think the minutes will be there.
Yeah, I saw Draymond Green. He was saying he was making the case Alex Caruso is the 3rd most important player on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I like, for a second, you're like, okay, Chet. But then I was like, I don't know. You know what? In these playoff series, like even last series, or was it against Denver? There's been multiple games where he's come in and I feel like the energy has just completely flipped, especially when they're at home, like with his defense and like when he was guarding Jokic and like he's guarding point guards, he's guarding centers, they'll put him on Siakam, they're doing all these crazy things. I'm like, yeah, I'm like Draymond Green might have a point. I think Alex Caruso might be the 3rd most important player in this playoff run. He's having a hell of a series. Did you want to add on to that?
I was going to say, like, I hesitate because of how important Chet was in game 2 defensively, like how he just dominated. But to that point, like Caruso is a very important part of the team. And I do think the minutes are stable.
Oh, yeah. I think they're very stable. I think he has a very secure role. I think they did a great job with him too, because regular season, they kind of dialed back his minutes a lot more than I thought. Like when they trade Josh Gay for him, like, yeah, he's only playing like 18 to 20 minutes. And then they ramped him up in the playoffs. I'm like, here we go. Like they knew exactly like, hey, this is Alex Caruso time right here. This is when we need him as a stopper. So
yeah. And I think that's one of the things that you always want to keep in mind too, just postseason versus regular season when you're looking at stuff. You want to pay, not that you want to be like super results oriented, but you want to pay attention and try and think like logically through stuff where, exactly what you said makes sense. It's not like Alex Caruso is some unknown commodity and he happened to have like a hot start in the playoffs, so he's getting more run until he doesn't play well. They know exactly what they have in him. During the regular season, OKC can beat everybody without having to play him more than 18 to 20 minutes. Now it's the postseason. Now you give Alex Caruso those minutes because he's exactly what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big time trade that's going to obviously work out in their favor. I think Alex Caruso over 2.5 assists plus 116 here is the second bet. We'll go to the third one. It's going to be an SGP. It's long odds here, but so I'm going to go for some. It's at FanDuel, and they have a 50% boost you can use on this. The boost brought the price I had up to plus 1405. Might be slightly higher because I think I was plus 936 on the original there. So it's obviously always going to move around, but I'm going Myles Turner 20 plus points. So I'm going to go for the alt here. I'm going to pair him with Tyrese Haliburton to record 10 plus assists, and then Pacers plus 5. Like I said, I just feel like these really work in tandem, the two of them. Haliburton, he hasn't really had big games against the Thunder. He hasn't had high assist games here, but it's also adjusted for playing the Thunder. Like he's someone who trades at 9.5, 10.5 in the regular season. He opened 7.5. It's now saying about 8.5 plus money. So you're getting a big plus alt price here for 10 plus, and 10 plus is kind of who he is against every other team. So I just feel like they're selling up to stop his offense. And if Myles Turner is going to get to 20 plus points, he's knocking down jump shots, and it's probably from Haliburton. So I'm going to pair those two together. And then I obviously do fear You can tell I fear the Thunder just a little bit because typically when I go for these huge alts, I put money lines in. So I would put a Pacers money line, but I'm gonna take the 5. I'll take the 5 here. So even if Halliburton and Turner do hit the plus 2 big alts here, I think you're well on your way to covering the +5 here for the Pacers. So comes up to plus 1405 there for the SGP. And those are our 3 bets here. We have Alex Caruso over 2.5 assists plus 116, SGP plus 1405, and Myles Turner over 14.5 points minus 115. Nick in the chat there saying minus 113, the 15 plus market. So you can save a couple of cents there. What's your expectation for game 3 tonight? We think Thunder again, or you see that earlier, a little nervous?
I'm a little nervous. I kind of have a bad feeling about it. But that might just be because I have no margin for error on the series ending in 5. I did go and bet it at OKC to win the series at minus 300. So as long as they win the series now, I break even. If they win it in 5, I profit. But I'm a little nervous, but I'll still take OKC. Like, I obviously think they're the better team by a lot.
Yeah. Bruce saying Tyrese double. I feel like the alts for Tyrese, I think they're kind of playing you with the injury thing. I think it's like, I don't know. It's NBA Finals. Like, he's going to be hyped up. Like, I was even thinking like with the passing, if he can't separate for shots because of he's a little bit injured, probably going to pass more. Your leg injury doesn't necessarily take away your vision and stuff like that. He looked like he was injured in game 2, but I think he's fine. So I think there's definitely, I feel like at some point in the series, if you did an SGP of Tyrese Halliburton with all overs, you'll probably hit 1, but you might lose 4 or 5 or whatever it is. So, but the totals are low. Even his points total is low. Last question for you, not basketball. You're going to go watch Scoop Bowl tomorrow in Baltimore?
I was thinking about it. I went yesterday. And yeah, I was considering going tomorrow. I thought I was going to see Myles yesterday, and then they pushed everybody back a day. But yeah, definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, you got to go see Scoop Bowl, man. That guy.
I would definitely go if the start time was 7:05 or 7:10. It's really difficult from a DFS standpoint to get to like a 6:35 game because the DFS slates all lock at 7:05.
Oh, so you're in the ballpark when you're.
Yeah, so like yesterday I played, but like I made lineups, and then I'm sitting there with my dad like at the game, and I was on my phone like trying to make sure that like the players that I played are actually playing and like swap on my phone and stuff.
Yeah, that Scoop was on a generational run. You got to go see him, man. He's absolutely electric. So I saw he was probable pitcher for you there in Baltimore. I was like, I'm wondering if Adam's going to see it.
Yeah,
that's enough baseball talk. This is an NBA show. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. This concludes the NBA Prop Pick Show powered by EV Analytics. We will be back on Friday for Game 4, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Good luck with your bets. Del, play the song.